A minister forms part of the policy and decision-making process that is central to government's actions. Collectively, the ministers are responsible for the effectiveness and efficiency of the agencies within the portfolio in order for them to meet their goals and purposes within their allocated budget. What does their performance chart look like? Let's find out on the Ministers platform. Ministry News keeps you abreast of fresh developments across the ministries, agencies, and parastatals. Let's bring you the latest update on Ministry News. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, says the federal government had fortified security in all correctional centers in the country before the recent attack on the facility in the nation's capital. He said this in a statement on Thursday by his media advisor, Shola Fasure, in reaction to the attack on the medium security custodial center in Kuje, Abuja. Aregbesola stated that the government had taken the initiative to beef up security at all the correctional centers at a time when the country witnessed incessant jailbreaks, including the facility in Oyo State. He confirmed that the security operatives were overpowered by the invaders, adding that one of them was killed while calm and normalcy have returned to the center. The federal government has commenced the training of officers across the country on conflict management, human and police rights. The training, organized by the Nigeria Police Trust Fund (NPTF), kicked off in Abuja, the nation's capital. The Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyadi, who was represented by the Ministry's Director of General Services, Edenmaya Braye, said the seminar will deepen relations between the police communities, citizens, and harness human intelligence for crime control. The minister assured that the government was keen to improving officers' skills, knowledge, and job performance, and keep them updated in modern policing techniques. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to establish a national shipping line to create jobs and boost revenue in the country. The Minister of State for Transportation, Senator Gbemisola Saraki, disclosed this while speaking at the 16th International Maritime Seminar for Judges organized by the Nigerian Shippers Council under the auspices of the Federal Ministry of Transportation in collaboration with the National Judicial Institute in Abuja. She further noted that it is a common knowledge that most of the country's maritime transportation is conducted by foreign ship owners, thereby limiting the economic benefits accruable to the nation and the sub-region in areas such as creation of jobs, freight and insurance earnings. She affirmed the present administration's intention to establish a private sector-driven national shipping line to ensure maximum exploitation of the potentials in the Nigerian maritime industry. The Federal Ministry of Power, European Union and the German government have jointly inaugurated a data platform to improve electrification planning using the mini-grid supply in Nigeria. Speaking in Abuja at the ribbon cutting ceremony of the new web platform recently, the Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, said access to digital and ground truth data was key to increasing the electrification rate in Nigeria. Aliyu said the Sustainable Energy for All, also known as SE for All, a central data management system portal, will provide a work-based data that will assist utility operators, regulators, policymakers involved in the electrification planning and implementation in Nigeria. Requests for proposals phase of the Nigeria Airport Concessions Program has commenced with the shortlisted bidders already notified in writing and via the transaction portal. This came as delegates of preferred bidders for the 4 Nigerian airports earmarked for concession flew into Nigeria from about 4 countries, with the majority joining online via the NACP's virtual conferencing facility. The Federal Ministry of Aviation, in line with the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission Act 2005 and global best practices, gave the notification to all stakeholders, local and international development partners, and members of the media in the information. While the RFP stage of the program will close on September 5, 2002, the ministry explained that all shortlisted bidders were encouraged to ensure that they make their submissions in a timely manner and as per the detailed guidelines included in the bidders package. The federal government has promised to deliver in March 2023 Section 3 of the Kano-Zaria Road, which is part of the Northwest Roads under construction. The Director, Highway Construction and Rehabilitation, Mr. Folorunsho Eson of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, said this during inspection of the project on Friday in Kano. Eson, on behalf of the Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, expressed satisfaction with the work of the contractors, adding that the project will be delivered according to schedule. The 19 northern states governors have called on the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to implement the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project to boost agriculture in the country. The governors made the call at a meeting by its chairman and Plateau State Governor Simon Bako Lalong, held with commissioners of livestock agriculture and finance, as well as other stakeholders from the 19 northern states and the FCT. They also agreed on the need for all the 19 states to harmonize their activities and come up with a common document that will make the scheme successful. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Abuja, has said recently that the federal government of Nigeria is facilitating admission into Nigerian tertiary institutions for Nigerian students who return to the country from Ukraine. In a statement signed by the Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Francisca Omayule, returnees who are interested in continuing their studies in Nigeria should visit the ministry's website to complete their registration on or before the 15th of July 2022. We will recall that about 1,531 students were evacuated back to Nigeria from Ukraine through Air Peace, Max Air, Azman and Turkish Airlines. And finally, on ministry news, the federal government has declared Monday 11th and Tuesday 12th of July 2022 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration. The Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulated all Muslims and Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora, on this occasion. The declaration was made in a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Shoaib Belgore, Thursday in Abuja. While wishing Muslims a happy Eid al-Kabir celebration, the minister enjoined all Nigerians to be vigilant and observant of intruders in their communities, assuring all Nigerians of the government's protection of all under the law, maintenance of law and order, and keeping the peace in all situations. Attending to critical matters of national interest is the prerogative of the Presidency. From the Presidency comes latest developments. President Muhammadu Buhari held a closed-door meeting with service chiefs and some members of his cabinet at the State House, Abuja, in connection with the attack on the Kuje Correctional Facility on Tuesday night, which saw the escape of over 600 inmates, including hardened Boko Haram elements. The Federal Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyari, who briefed State House correspondents after the 4 hours meeting, relayed the president's position, promising a full investigation into the occurrence to avoid such developments in future.
Arrangements have been made to ensure that full investigations are carried out and to ensure that a repeat of incidences will not occur. The service chiefs have been given very clear directives to ensure that adequate measures are taken, not only to investigate what happened, but also to take steps to forestall the occurrence of such instances. We call on Nigerians to continue to support the federal government in the efforts to ensure that we fight criminalities to finish and to ensure that this country is brought back to normalcy in a more secured and a more peaceful atmosphere. We are moving towards 2023, and government is committed to ensuring that there is peace, tranquility, that will ensure a very credible, a very peaceful and transparent elections in
President Muhammadu Buhari Wednesday expressed disappointment with the intelligence system at the Medium Security Custodial Center, Kuje, Abuja. The president, who spent about 30 minutes when he visited the facility attacked by terrorists on Tuesday night, angrily said he's disappointed with the intelligence system and he wondered how can terrorists organize, have weapons, attack a security installation and get away with it. The president was, however, briefed about the attack by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Interior, Dr. Shuaib Mohammed Lamido Belgore, and the Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Aliru Nababa, showing him the bombed-out section. President Muhammadu Buhari have assigned portfolios to 7 newly appointed ministers, charging them to serve the nation diligently. He also announced the reassignment of offices and said the redeployment was to reinvigorate some sectors where the government needed to achieve better results. The new ministers and their portfolios are Ikechukwu Eko, Minister of State for Science and Technology, Umana, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Udi Odum, Minister of State for Environment, Ademola Adegoroye, Minister of State for Transportation, Umaru Ibrahim El Yakub, Minister of State for Works and Housing, Goodluck Opia, Minister of State for Education, and Nkama Ekuman Kama, Minister of State for Health. The following were reassigned: Senator Adeleke Mamora as Minister of Science and Technology, formerly Minister of State for Health, Moazu Jaji Sambo, Minister of Transportation, originally Minister of State, Works and Housing, Sharon Keazo, Minister of State, Niger Delta, previously Minister of State, Environment, and Senator Gbemisola Saraki, Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, ex-Minister of State, Transportation. The President urged the new cabinet members to consult widely on driving key programs of the current administration.
I therefore urge you to consider your emergence out of millions of equally qualified Nigerians within the purview of selection from your state as a call to duty which imposes the obligation to serve the nation diligently and present to you the unique opportunity to work hard in service to the government and the country.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday joined African leaders in Dakar, Senegal to launch $93 billion package geared towards a robust and resilient economy for Africa. The sum is the largest financial package ever mobilized in the history of the International Development Association. According to a statement issued by Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity on Thursday, 70% of the global fund will be spent on African countries, with Nigeria getting the biggest cut among the African states. And finally, from the Presidency, President Muhammadu Buhari Friday extended the condolences of the Nigerian government to the family of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and to the government and people of Japan in the wake of his gruesome assassination. Abe, 67, died after being shot during a speech in Nara, Japan on Friday. The president in a statement said Abe will be remembered for his unwavering commitment to strengthening trade and investment between Africa and Japan. Up next is a special interview we had in recent past with the Honorable Minister of the Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, who spoke on strategic initiatives and efforts of the ministry to improve the Nigerian health sector.
We are targeting universal health coverage. One of the problems we have had in this country is a poorly structured health system, which we are looking at setting up right now under this administration. Primary healthcare center available per political ward. You have to make healthcare accessible, affordable, and acceptable to the people. And the quality must be good enough to give them the confidence to accept your healthcare. We intend to upgrade the primary healthcare center, make sure it has solar powered light or any other source of lighting. And also we have water supply and a staff quarter. Once you have that, you have a platform for reaching a whole community. And if you have a large ward or a heavily populated ward, you can have 2 of those centers. This will bring healthcare coverage by this administration's projection to 80% of Nigerian citizens and reduce all those horrendous figures that you hear coming from Nigeria on maternal mortality, which is about 54,000, child mortality, which is about 800,000. The second is to increase the quality by training more health personnel, more nurses, doctors, and health technicians in all areas, and providing the equipment and the organizational structure that makes it possible for people to trust care service. Right now, only 5 or 6% of Nigerians have access to healthcare through an insurance cover. By 2030, be able to offer health insurance to 70 to 80% of the population, so that there will be no need for out-of-pocket payment. By that, you make the healthcare available to a large population, and by that, you're able to attend to many of the ailments that presently leave the population helpless. Also provide a pool of funds that will cover the provision of that service. I do hope that the initiatives we are working on, which we have tried to put together, will soon be brought into the forefront to carry out reforms in these areas to have a more efficient system. We have a tertiary standards committee which we have just set up, and this committee has Nigerian experts from abroad, Nigerians who study and work abroad, who will be members and be able to bring their own experience from outside to join the Tertiary Health Standards Committee in looking at how the hospitals are run and what improvements they need to make. This is one area where we need a reform to increase confidence in it and efficiency and improve service delivery for the citizens. We have a National Strategic Health Plan which provides the guidelines, 5 pillars and 15 priorities that sets where we want to go. We have National Health Policy, but this is one area where it is not only the federal government that is involved. The state government plays an important role here, because the state governments are the ones who will give licenses for hospitals to operate in their states and also participate in supervising what goes on in the hospitals. Then of course you have the Medical Dental Commission and also the Association Nurses and Midwives Council, who regulate the quality and practice of the individuals who go into provide service at our institutions. Again, here we need to set standards because many of these institutions were set up many years ago when we didn't have so many hospitals, when we didn't have so many doctors, so many nurses. But now that the population of doctors is increasing, more and more medical schools are coming up, the number of hospitals is increasing, and also the private hospitals, which also need to be regulated, they are all coming up. We'll going to be working on reforms to improve or perhaps decentralize, because the more they are, the more difficult it is to cope with individual institutions. Private sector in Nigeria actually offers up to 60% of the services, more than the public. Although there's a bigger question of affordability there. A large number of people are not able to afford the private sector, and many of them are very high level work, high level surgery, high level services that in fact in one or two cases some of our teaching hospitals are trying to meet up with. If you look at the newest initiative that's coming up now, is the National Emergency Medical Service and Ambulance System, NEMSAS, which intends to provide health services to Nigerians in emergency situations. Now, this is a classical PPP where the assets of government are going to work with the assets of the private sector. In ambulances, for example, they have more ambulances in the private sector than the public sector, who are going to come together to be available to give emergency service to whoever is in need and dials a number 112 and is directed to a call center which should locate the caller, locate the nearest ambulance, and send the ambulance with trained paramedics, provide service and take that particular patient where necessary to an urgent care center or to a teaching hospital to give them treatment and then refer them to a definitive treatment spot. And for every one of these services, the person who's receiving the service will not be charged at point of care. It will be paid for by this system. That will save a lot of lives because the argument about who is paying for you will be removed. And the fund is being created to assure the beneficiaries, and the health providers, they are assured that they will be paid, which is the special point about this program. We have the National Health Management Information System, which we set up, which works here in our area, and district health information system which collates information at all sites, and then the M&E personnel who feed information into the system and serves the public health area and also the policy area to help decide where what is needed. Also in inventory control, what kind of materials and equipment that we require. So it's a very important part of our health system. And in the area of HIV, for example, we use such information to know prevalence, how many cases are in each area and what kind of treatment each area requires. The same for tuberculosis. Are we carrying out the notification? Where have I seen a case of tuberculosis and put them under treatment? All these are the ones that require long-term treatment. So data is extremely important, and also the collection and management of data is critical here, and we're continuing to build on it. The health insurance also working very hard to create that for management of its cases, of its clients that are registered in the insurance service scheme. Is it community health based on the primary healthcare center? That is to say, the infrastructure, the human resources, the equipment, and then the commodities and wherewithal to run primary healthcare system efficiently. Secondly, a mechanism for delivering healthcare in emergency, because not being able to attend to patients in emergency is responsible for the large number of loss of lives. Women who are delivering, for example, have obstructed labor, or children who have a pneumonia, or those who have had an accident. So developing a medical emergency service is the next. Then the next layer is the general hospital, where referrals go to from the primary health care or from private centers. And finally, a reformed tertiary hospital system that functions efficiently, respectfully, and treats their patients with dignity and productive, that we have such confidence that nobody wants to go abroad for treatment again. All this will be enabled by the primary healthcare system, the secondary health system reforms, the tertiary health system reforms, the creation of a national medical emergency ambulance system, and then all driven by the NHIS, National Health Insurance System, State Health Insurance System, Community Contributory Health Insurance, which is already going on in some states like Kano, and of course all of it supported with a very sound public health system, and all overseen by the Federal Ministry of Health.
let's bring you facts you need to know about the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on our Ministry, Agencies and Parastatals in Focus segment. The acronym NDLEA stands for the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is a federal agency in Nigeria charged with eliminating the growing, processing, manufacturing, selling, exporting, and trafficking of drugs. The NDLEA was established by Decree number 48 of 1989 and currently under the able leadership of the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, retired General Muhammad Buba Marwa. The NDLEA is present in international airports, seaports, and border crossing. It tries to eradicate cannabis by destroying plantains. The agency also targets the leaders of narcotics and money laundering organizations. The vision of the NDLEA is to become the most proactive and leading drug law enforcement agency on the African continent. Its mission is to totally eradicate illicit trafficking in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. And the goal of the NDLEA is recovery of ill-gotten wealth acquired from proceeds of illicit drug trade, protecting the image of Nigerians. These are the functions and roles of the NDLEA. The NDLEA has over 7,600 staff operating at different levels to help carry out its functions, which include investigating of drug-related crimes, enforcing drug laws, destroying narcotic plants and substances, partnering with international agencies to fight drug trafficking, leading in efforts related to drug-related researches, tracing proceeds from illegal drug trades, prosecution of criminals, operates beyond borders to stifle drug business, builds on the effectiveness of its efforts in eradicating the illicit drugs, and finally identify and investigate suspects of illegal drug use and participation.
The fact that there are no strict laws that governs or guides tenants.
For like 2 years now, and I have not seen one person ask me to pay 1 year.
I like this city because of the opportunity, job opportunities.
By the Boko Haram people that were released is to disrupt the election, so that if the person they wanted did not go in there, the Boko Haram people, is going to, enlarge, terrorism on people. That's my own opinion. To be very frank with you, security will continue to be nothing to be written about because the criminals are being protected while the innocent people are being, persecuted. So the only solution we have is for us to put somebody who is honest, that has integrity.
The current happenings in the country now is highly disappointing and very disgraceful. Even for a country that has a retired general at the hands of affairs, and we have so much insecurity, and the whole thing looks so, everybody seems helpless. There's no hope anywhere in sight. Those who invaded that prison, they are terrorists, they are not bandits, as far as I'm concerned, because it takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of intelligence, it takes a lot of planning for them to be able to carry out that invasion successfully. Those who are security experts, they have said enough. There are a lot of intelligence reports. People who have been in the security sector of the country, they have offered professional advice and intelligence to this government. What have they done with it? The thought of the fact that we even voted this government in on the basis of security and corruption in this land is really painful, my brother. The only solution there is for us to just pray that God should see us beyond 2023.
For you to pull that kind of job, to pull it off, there has to be some kind of planning. But it just goes to show that there's a big security issue and something needs to be done about it. The popular saying that the idle mind is the devil's workshop. If everybody is busy, you wake up in the morning 8 o'clock, you go about your business or go to the office, you come back 4, 5 p.m., you are busy. At the end of the month, you know there will be money in your hands, in your account to take care of your family, meet your needs. Who's going to go into terrorism or crime, because you know the consequences. And then I think security operatives should improve their package, you know. You can't take out criminality 100% because there's no perfect system, but definitely it will be reduced.
It might be a work of an internal person, someone that knows the in and out of the prison. The president visiting the place, to me, might not be of any change, because this is not the first time such will happen in Nigeria. This is not even the first time people will be killed in this regime. If we say something will happen, we've not seen anything. So it might go the same way, like other bad things that have happened in this country under his administration. But let's see, maybe this might be a change, you understand? You can never predict, anything can happen.
Nigeria is a joke. If we cannot protect a maximum security prison like that of Kuje, and the president went there today to see what his brothers did, then I have no further comment. But it's a shame.
On the Ministers platform every week, we concern ourselves with how governance is being run at the ministerial level of government. Fresh developments will come your way next week. Remain patriotic.